President Buhari and Senate President Ahmed Lawan compare notes on dismantling and niggling obstacles to national security and stability. The toll of insecurity on productivity in the rural areas is on the front burner. We will discuss the efforts by communities and government to return these areas to relative calm for agri-business to take place. Also on Political Update today, Eastern groups wade into the face-off in Imo State, appeal for calm. Strap in for the next half hour for another ride through the labyrinth that is the Nigerian political space. I am Fisai Ogunfuyi. Welcome. Senate President Ahmed Lawan says the current administration is committed towards dismantling obstacles to national security and stability. Senator Lawan said Nigerians will see a noticeable change in the coming weeks and months. He made his remarks to some journalists after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari on the state of the nation.
The meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Senate President Ahmed Lawan lasted more than 1 hour behind closed doors. The worrisome security situation in parts of the country and the best way forward dominated discussions as explained by the Senate President.
We had a very extensive discussion on the security of all parts of Nigeria and how we should go about improving the situation. We all have roles to play. I believe that between now and probably the next 2 months, there will be a lot of activities to ensure that we recover and secure our environments for our people to lead a very normal life. As political leaders, we have responsibilities to our people, and we cannot shy away from that. We would like to see our farmers go back to farms before the rainy season starts. And this means we have to secure the rural parts of Nigeria as well as the urban centers because we need businesses to flourish.
President Buhari and the Senate President also touched on the unguarded utterances and the hate campaign now being given prominence by some Nigerians, describing it as unfortunate and counterproductive.
The Nigerian citizen believes in Nigeria so strongly, and that is why you will find an Igbo man, a southeasterner, in the remotest part of northern Nigeria. That's why you will find a Hausa man in far away southwest or southeast or south-south and probably even Mari from those areas. We have this Nigerianness in our citizens. As political leaders, we are supposed to ensure that we support this kind of feeling by giving everybody a protection. If a Yoruba man, a southwesterner, decides to live in far away Sokoto, he should be protected. If a Hausa man decides to live in far away Boni or Port Harcourt, he should be protected, and so on and so forth, because this is how we will be able to use our diversity to weave it into a capacity to make Nigeria a big and successful nation.
The meeting also resolved to ensuring that the ongoing forensic audit of the NDDC is completed and those found wanting are brought to justice for sabotaging efforts at developing the Niger Delta region.
Given the resources that were deployed into the NDDC should have transformed the Niger Delta into a better environment than what it has been. So we need to sanitize the NDDC and get the resources fully deployed in developing the area in the Niger Delta.
The National Assembly, he said, is prepared to support efforts at sanitizing Nigeria and placing her on the path to sustainable future.
Meanwhile, civil society organizations under the banner of Save Humanity Advocacy Center and the Middle Belt Conscience Guards have enjoined well-meaning Nigerians to ignore all antics of agents of destabilization who see nothing positive in the country. The CSOs say the task of building a peaceful and united Nigeria is the responsibility of all citizens.
This media briefing by the Save Humanity Advocacy Center has a clear-cut message of the need to give support to the ongoing efforts of the present administration in the ongoing fight against banditry, kidnapping and other forms of crime and criminality.
Unless firm action is taken, they will continue to engage in actions that are capable of undermining Nigerian sovereignty.
Another civil society organization under the auspices of the Middle Belt Conscience Guards has condemned what it described as continuous habitual incitement of Nigerians against each other by some political office holders. The CSO noted that it is pained to pencil down these feelings at a time Nigerians are supposed to be more united and standing stronger in one voice than ever before. Political office holders who often malign the efforts of the government at the center are advised to desist, but rather channel energies towards complementing government's effort towards making Nigeria greater.
Moving on now, the Indigbo Good Governance Initiative says members of the APC in Imo State must show the spirit of oneness to widen the party's sphere of influence in the southeast. The group appealed to Imo State Governor Opuzodimma and former Governor Rochas Okorocha to come to the negotiating table in the interests of peace.
To our dear leaders who now hold reign of power within and outside the state, we say the greatest and most enduring legacy is how to achieve peace in the state. Peace is foundation of all development and progress. It is either there or not there. We need peace everywhere in the state. There is no substitute for peace. And any sacrifice is worth making for peace.
All right, to the focus today, ensuring that Nigeria's vast and hard-working agrarian communities return to their place of high productivity is top on the to-do list of most state governments in Nigeria. For this to be achieved, however, security must be assured. Honorable Musa Ada joins us today on Political Update. He represents the good people of Gada and Goroyo Federal Constituency. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
What was the update from your area? The last time we had discussions, we were talking about how viable the place is, how hardworking your people are, in terms, and how viable, commercial activities are in terms of move the value chain, moving goods to the market. Of course, first give us an update. Are you also part of the constituencies that have had some challenges in terms of boundary and some of the some activities we've seen in the rural areas?
The update from my constituency, Gada and Waranyo local governments in Sokoto State, like I've told you, we are largely agrarian. Basically, 99% of our people depends on agriculture. And we are into irrigation farming. That's why we produce the onion and garlic. And I have said many times that we are the largest producers of garlic and onions in this country, because there is no time that you will go there, you will not get enough quantity of whatever you need, either garlic or onions. But the problem is the banditry is affecting us greatly and badly. Even last week, I was in Sokoto. I just came back recently. Now, between Goroyo and Sokoto is less than 100 kilometers. It is already now a rule. You can't go there in the morning. Anytime from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m., you can't go, you can't fly that road. Similarly, anytime after 5 p.m., you can't go, because the bandits have already relocated there and they have taken over that place. And like I said, it's just 100 kilometer distance, not even up to 100 kilometer distance. And it's not a forest area. That's what most surprises us. And these people, when they came, they go and attack people, they kidnap people, or they kill people. Sometimes they even carry away the cattle. And yet, no recovery has been made until today. The nearest forest to us is more than 200 kilometers. That's the forest in Zamfara State. And until now, we don't see that anything. And what worries us most, there are still military checkpoints along that road. And we find these military boys there harassing these innocent citizens, stopping everybody, queuing for a very long period of time. Sometimes people are alleging, I have not seen, they are collecting money from the drivers. But yet, when people are kidnapped, they don't go to rescue them. This is very worrisome, because this is the peak of the period where our people needed to be protected to move freely to go to their farms. Remember, just about 2 months ago, a bag of onion cost as much as 90,000 naira. Today, a bag of onion is about 3,000 naira, because now this is the peak. The harvesting period have come. And this when people want to go and harvest their onion. And onion is very difficult. It's very perishable. It's very difficult to preserve. So if people could not go and harvest their onions, it means all the labor they have put in from September to now is going to be a watershed. So we need really something to be done seriously. These agro rangers that the civil defense and Ministry of Agriculture are talking about are not seen there. There's no any presence of any agro ranger in our area. And we need them there to go and protect our farms and our farmers as well. so that people can go and do their farming activities. If you do that, we don't need anything from the government more than security as of now. Our people are not lazy. We are dependent on the agriculture, and we are self-reliant, and that's giving our teaming youth and a source of employment. I wish one day you will follow me to go and see my constituency. Look at how people, our boys, are using their motorcycles to ferry their product from farms to far away Gada, almost a distance of 40 kilometers. You find a young boy carrying 3 bags of onion on top of his motorcycle and speeding at highest level, and they don't fall down because of the passion they have, because they are gaining, they are earning from it. I once asked them, how much do you fry a burger? They said 1,000 naira, a distance of 40 kilometers. And it is cheaper for you to fry a bag of onion from Gada to Lagos than to fry it within the same Gada local government. That's now, I thank God that I am able to achieve, to get the construction of a road linking Gada to part of our rural areas, and the work is ongoing. And I hope before the end of this tenure I'll be able to accomplish it. And I equally, no, not finished, I equally hope the Ministry of Agriculture will come to go and do much of its presence there through the rural development. We are the rural, very rural area, and we are the one that needed to be given attention. They should go and construct rural roads in our area. We have vast area, to rather than about 160 kilometers in Gada and more than 160 kilometers in Goranyo. They should come there. It's a hub. It can earn much revenue for this country. This onion are now being marketed in neighboring West African countries. Come to Gada market, come to Goranyo market on the market days, on Thursdays for Gada, on Sundays for Goranyo. You find Ghanaians, you find Ivorians, you find Burkina Fasos, you find Malians coming there to buy onion. And one thing I just recently interacted with some of the farmers. They told me one thing. When we go to Cotonou, or when you go to Burkina Faso to go and sell your onion, you cannot sell it by yourself. Somebody must be a commission agent, and the commission he gets from you is high. So that means we have potential of export, but because the government neglected, the government did not come to the aid of people to enlighten them and to organize them into modern trading. So all these are needed in our area. When you do that for us, leave us, don't give us anything. We can provide everything for ourselves.
I was inside talks from outside the studio about some people want to join the business, but we'll be talking about that in the course of the program. And you've spoken so passionately about, the issue of ensuring security in those areas. And of course, the Senate President also said this, that it is of utmost priority at this time. What is the feedback like, especially now the planting?
From 1st January to 31st of March 2021, few weeks to the end of the extension, leadership of the National Assembly invited the Minister of Finance for feedback on the implementation so far.
The extension meant for agencies to continue to utilize the funds that has already been released to them. And we have made an assessment, and as of the first week of February, I'm afraid to report that the performance utilization of the extended amount was averaging about 30%.
Let me commend the minister and her team for the level of implementation throughout last year. It was pretty high, perhaps the highest we've seen in a long time.
The minister noted that as at the end of 2020, the federal government had released 1.74 trillion naira for capital expenditure, out of which 118 billion was for COVID-19.
Since then, there has been more releases for COVID-19 expenditure, and we can provide an update on that.
That today our economy has shown significant improvement, and we are technically out of recession. Our economy has grown the GDP by over 0.1%, and that is remarkable. That this is the dividend of the National Assembly passing the budget before the end of the year.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Ethics, Privileges and Public Petitions has sought warrant of arrest on the management of the Niger Delta Development Commission for not appearing before the committee's investigative hearing on alleged misappropriation of 6.25 billion naira COVID-19 palliative for the Niger Delta region.
We'll be talking about the NDDC, but perhaps not today because of time. But Honorable Musa Ada is still here. Prospects for 2021 for your constituency?
We have, I would say, I have strong hope that 2021 will be much better than previous 2020. Like I've said, the project that I have secured for the construction of road from Gada to Cafe and to other part of Gada local government is ongoing, and capital allocation has been made in the budget, and I expected it will be released and work will continue, it will not stop.
And hopefully onion prices would not go up like last year.
No, we want it to go up. We want it to go higher than that. Why?
So that your constituents can continue to
I'm also trying to get across some investors who will come and invest in the processing of the onion in terms of preservation and value chain, so that our farmers will not lose the value they are supposed to get.
You are a member of the petroleum, upstream committee on upstream. You saw about a fortnight or a little bit more. We had the public hearing on the PIB. Of course, some of it ended in fisticuffs. But are you hopeful that eventually this bill will eventually, take us to the El Dorado perceived from beginning?
There was the fiscal there did not affect the public hearing in any way, because it is what the police call fighting, two-men fighting among themselves. Two fighting. Yes. So it didn't affect our sitting there. We did not finish abruptly. We finished it in the normal way, and we finished it. All the procedures were followed and adopted. And now we have all our data, and what remains is only the analysis of the data and making of a report that will be led to the House. And surely the PIB will come to be passed in a very distant future time to come.
All right, let's before we go, the People's Democratic Party says it is ready to work with the government of the day and all critical stakeholders in attaining seamless electoral laws and robust working constitution. The party gave this commitment while inaugurating its Electoral Reform and Constitution Amendment Committee.
The National Secretariat of the PDP in Abuja played host to the members of the party's Electoral Reform and Constitution Amendment Committee, chaired by the former Deputy President of the Senate, Ike Ekweremadu. They are expected to galvanize the party's position to the National Assembly in the ongoing efforts towards amendments to the electoral laws and the 1999 Constitution.
By pressing for a better electoral system and a more people-oriented constitution, the PDP is aligning with the yearnings of the overwhelming majority of Nigerians.
National Chairman of the PDP, Prince Uche Secondu, says the party's initiative is an effort towards deepening the nation's democratic tenets and as well improve her election processes. He called on party faithful to contribute meaningfully to the processes and devoid of sentiment.
If all our electoral laws are well in place and being guided and we obey them, there will be peace, there will be no infighting, there will be no thuggery during the election and after election.
Meanwhile, the National Reconciliation and Strategy Committee of the PDP, under the chairmanship of the immediate past President of the Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, in continuation of its mandate, has met with the Board of Trustees of the party, where the chairman, Senator Walid Jibril, promised members cooperation.
Many thanks, Timothy Yusuf, for that report. Honorable Musa, I want to thank you for being a part of the program. Any final words on the program before we go?
My final word is, you, the journalists, should brace off to be giving good coverage to the rural areas to see what is happening there. Don't rely on your reporters based in Abuja to be given us only the elite news and the elite reports. Go to the rural area and see for yourself, and let Nigeria know what's happening in the rural area. That's where majority of the people are, and there are people feeding the nation.
I believe you.
Yes.
And of course, we would do that. And also, we would also still bring you back in a couple of months to give us an update, especially from that zone, talking about the activities there, especially, in terms of linking products to the market.
I hope I will come here to give you good news that there's no more banditry, there's no more killing, and people are moving freely.